Okay, freelancers, independent operators, non-English speakers, using ChatGPT isn't a problem. There's, I understand when there's both technical and language barriers. You're trying to do what you can to achieve a success. And the point of GHL Business Launch is to help people in that situation achieve success. So I'm not opposed to you using ChatGPT to clarify the meanings of words and to make sure that you're communicating effectively your intent. But when we're having a chat conversation and I start detecting that you're letting ChatGPT answer for you instead of you're answering, then we can no longer have an honest conversation. Because if I wanted to talk to ChatGPT, I could just talk to ChatGPT. I don't want to talk to ChatGPT. I want to talk to you. So here's this conversation. I'm not going to put it on the screen because I don't want to expose someone's name, even a online alias handle. But the conversation went past the not understanding each other to actual lies. Let me kind of I'm going to summarize what was normal in the conversation. What normally happens when I have these conversations is the person's trying to pitch to me and I have to say something fairly strong, fairly aggressive to do a pattern interrupt to break the cycle so the person will get off of their script of trying to sell to me and actually be receptive to the fact that I have something in GHL Business Launch to offer to that community. I'm trying to be helpful to that community. Um, I know don't say this on very many of my videos. I'm in a financial situation where my agency doesn't have to make it very much money to make it make sense for me to have my agency. I'm not trying to grow my agency. My agency is a hobby business. I am taking this opportunity at this stage in my life to take this amazing set of tools that we call the high level platform that is available at, and the incredible reach that is afforded by social media in general and high level in specific to give economic opportunity to people in other parts of the world. You don't have to be in downtown Tacoma to have to do successful business now. As long as you have a reasonable connection to the internet and a decent mobile device, where you are located doesn't matter anymore. In OmniHub Challenge, hosted by GHL Business Launch, we have if finances are a problem, then we have ways to help with that too. But the reason that it's a training program that's a very low cost is it's intended to give people opportunities to overcome financial constraints, economic constraints imposed by geography. Okay. So I have in these conversations, people will DM me because my public marketing positions me in a way that causes people who would be benefited by GHL Business Launch to reach out to me. So when they do reach out to me, I know they're going to pitch me and I don't block them because I'm trying to reach them. But I'm having this two-way conversation back and forth that I'm trying to do a pattern interrupt to get their attention so that they'll listen. And in this conversation, um, I had basically achieved the pattern interrupt. The person says, my intent wasn't to pitch, but to understand where you might need support. I said, okay. Thank you. Let's try this again. Is this method in this case the person's script said, "Where are you stuck? After all, no one's perfect." So that was their opening line, and that was like, mm. But that's a script. That's a way to do it. So I said, "Thank you. Let's try this again. Is this method parenthesis telling people they aren't perfect and asking if they're stuck in parenthesis working for you? How long have you been using this method? Have you gotten clients using this method?" And the person comes back and says, "I don't understand." Simplify the question. Is it working? Instead of saying yes or no, the person says, "Have you heard about school platform?" They already know about digital products, so I don't stress myself to explain before I guide them through the store setup step by step. Maybe on Colab, maybe the person said, maybe here. Maybe on Colab, it's different, and that's why it feels strange to you. My response, it doesn't feel strange at all. I know exactly what you mean. I know what you're doing. I ask a simple question. And then I expanded the simple question. Of 100 messages you send out telling a complete stranger that they aren't perfect, how many of them buy your service? I totally understand, and I appreciate that. I'm always open to feedback. That's how growth happens. I don't take this as criticism, but as collaboration. Um, we all improve by learning from each other, and your perspective helps sharpen my edge. So thank you for the progress. As always, a team effort is always a team effort. Okay, that's nice. My response though was, I don't think you do totally understand my perspective. And the reason is the person had never asked me, had not asked me any questions other than, do you want to buy my thing? I do not think you totally understand my perspective. You aren't interested in my perspective. You're only interested in trying to sell your service. You have deliberately avoided answering my question. No worries at all. I appreciate your honesty. Growth comes from understanding. I value every bit of feedback. I'm here to make sure you get real results. So the person is still pitching. I said, this is where I started getting harsh. No, you started this. Answer the question. And I did add a please, but all caps, please. On school, when you tell someone they aren't perfect, do they buy your digital store building service? Answer is yes. Okay. What percent? But thank you for at least giving me a straight answer. And here's where I went from, I think they're using GPT to, this is the way GPT would write it. Just a slip of word, no worries at all. I appreciate the correction and clarity. As a professional digital marketer, I value communication. It keeps things real and on point. Thanks for catching that so we can stay sharp and keep the conversation professional. Okay. I don't think I'm getting through to the person. So I did it this way. Okay, here's my on topic question. Why do you think I want your help building a digital store? That is a valid question and fair to ask. I don't assume you want in there's italics. People don't type italics; they copy and paste italics. I don't assume you want my help. I simply offer support where it might add value. As a professional digital marketer, my goal isn't to push assistance, but to italics. Understand your vision first, and italics. Once it's clear, my expertise aligns with your goals, then collaboration makes sense. If not, I still respect the conversation. Interesting. It seems to me like a digital marketer should have asked more questions to understand my needs before pitching their service. I am 100% convinced that you don't understand what I want. You're right, and that's a great observation. Uh, GPT drove. GPT drove. That's fair, and I respect your honesty. You're right. I don't know what you want until I listen. And then never ask questions. So I try to re-engage back to what my agenda is. Thank you. Because because if I assume the question that's in the last statement, the question was, what matters to you? So I said, thank you. What matters to me right now is to understand whether you are happy with your current gold DM strategy. Is it working for you? Simple answer, yes. Beautiful, great. This is what I usually close, where I close. Then you aren't interested in okay, then you aren't interested in learning different techniques. That's awesome. I'm happier with your results. Um, and then I said, I have a Facebook group and my own collab group. At least half of the people in both of those groups are digital marketers. If I need help from a digital marketer, I'm not going to come find you. There are people in my community already, and I know whether they've done the training or not. If they haven't done my training, then how can I trust them to implement the way I would want them to implement? I'm pretty sure I could find 10 digital marketers to to use if I needed one. Person response. I get you, and who knows? Maybe one day our paths will align. In the digital, the digital world is small. We might cross paths again. I said, but you said you were interested in collaborating with me. You came into my space with your agenda, and you have never figured out what my agenda is. The the next statement is clearly ChatGPT, but it starts with that's a fair call out, and it ends with maybe there's a way we can create value together. So I tried to reset it. Hi, person's name. Great to meet you. You know how many digital marketers struggle to make their message unique? I have a training program that helps solo business people and small teams communicate their value more clearly. Hi there. So it feels like we're trying to restart this conversation. Great connecting with you. You're right. Standing out into the digital space has challenges. It looks like how your program works might align with what I do as a professional digital marketer, whatever the professional digital marketer is. Fantastic. I said, maybe um, many digital marketers assume that people need what they want, what they offer so badly, they only have to tell them, this is what I do, and people just buy it. I said, the OmniHub Challenge short course is a process to develop a unique approach that stands out from the thousands of other people offering the exact same service. That's why GTL Business Launch has almost 4,500 people in the Facebook group and over 640 in the private in actual training. And most of them do the same thing. But the point of the program is to help them figure out how to present the same thing that they do in a different way to a different particular niche target market, such that they aren't in competition with each other. They are in collaboration, like this person's talking about. They are in parallel, not community, not confrontational competition. Parallel collaboration, not confrontation. Community collaboration instead of confrontational competition. The person says, couldn't agree more. What you're describing with OmniHub Challenge sounds like the missing link. Okay, maybe we do have an opportunity to collaborate at this point. I said, nice, thank you. If you encounter someone whose target market and offer aren't clear, maybe you could suggest that they check out what we're training. It seems to me that a person should say, hey, how do I get access to this training? Because I would need to know what it's like before I would recommend it. But the person never asks that. The person says, okay. Then I continued the conversation. Thank you. May I ask a question? They says, you may ask. Okay, why? I said, thank you. Why did you make this so hard today? The answer was, I don't make anything hard. I'm just doing my job. You refuse to answer my questions. That's making it hard to have a conversation. I didn't say that. I said, you refuse to answer my questions. And then I followed up with, if I didn't have an agenda of my own, I would have blocked you hours ago. And the person says, why? I don't even know why you would block me. But they did ask a reasonable question. What agenda did you have? I said, the answer to why is because you clearly are only interested in selling. You were never interested in collaborating. In response to what agenda did you have? My agenda is to recruit people into my training program. The response is, we can collaborate. Okay, fine. What does collaboration look like to you? And then I get effectively a dictionary definition of collaboration, the meaning of collaboration. Um, but it's very much about a project, a teamwork on a project, as opposed to people who have different agendas but whose interests are aligned. I respond, okay, you have never indicated that you want anything other than to sell your digital store building service to me. I had to ask you to ask me what my goals are. Even after you said you understood that I was trying to have a collaborative conversation, you reverted to asking about digital asset stores. The person apologized. I thank you. The person then asked, what are your goals? My goal is to recruit people into my training program. The way this next thing is written is so GPT. It's clearly just copy and paste. Got it. That's a clear and powerful goal. Da, 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 da. So I said the next thing because the person had mentioned school a couple times. I said, Colab is a school new platform. Groups here generally have very few members. The name of your Colab group has 2 members, but that's not surprising. You said your primary platform is school. I showed an image of the name of that program from a snapshot off of school, and I said, "Is one of these yours?" The answer was yes. It wasn't yes, this one. It was yes, one of those is mine. Well, of the ones that are on the screen, 2 are less than 5 people, and one is 25,000 people, 28,000 people. So we've had this huge discrepancy in what we could be talking about. Ask what the person teaches. It sounds nice. It sounds like script. Wonderful. Thank you. Perfect. And how do people find your now I'm doing what I would have expected this person to do to me. Perfect. How do people find your program? They find the program through strategic digital marketing, digital media, social media visibility, targeted ads, email funnels, collaborations, value-driven content that attracts the right audience organically. Earlier in the conversation, the person said, what I do is all about implementation, not about theory. My response to this was, that sounds like theory. What does it look like in implementation? The thing that came back in a different font is the same. So I said, okay, let me ask a different question. You're running ads to your school group. Is that working? Yes, of course. Okay. Why are you being, now I'm not trying to dig. Why are you being vague? I asked if one of these is yours. If you're proud of what you're doing, you would have said mine is whichever one it is. I am proud of what I'm doing, but I just created the second one. Um, then the person says, so what should I offer you now? They're back to pitching. What should I offer you now? I ask, why are you talking to me? To help you with your leads so you can have more people in your program. Um, this is this. I did in fact need to go a step away, but at this point I was clearly not getting through to the person. Okay, this has been an interesting conversation, but I need to get away from the desk. I learned some interesting things about human nature. I'm not sure how I will apply what I learned. Maybe stepping away from the keyboard will give me time to process the data. The next thing that came back was GPT dribble. Absolutely, that's a smart move. Da 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 da. I've learned that strategy isn't built behind the screen. Take your time to process the best ideas. Often, the bet. Take your time to process the best idea. Process the best ideas often surface once the noise quiets down. Before I stepped away from the desk, I said, challenging them. wanting them to understand that I'm trying to have a real conversation with them. I said, I don't mind you using ChatGPT to clarify your words. I do not like having ChatGPT pander to me. And then this is my opinion. ChatGPT is not nearly as smart as you think it is. Because that previous thing had clearly been written by ChatGPT. The response was, that is not so. Am smart enough myself, then use ChatGPT. My response, see, I believe you wrote that. Heart. Responded back, okay, and immediately came back with a pitch. Can we talk about your leads to promote your service? There was literally 3 minutes between when I said, I believe you wrote that, and can we talk about your leads to promote your service? I came back an hour later. Said, I get leads by demonstrating value in the high level universe via Facebook and Collab, and by having conversations with people who send cold DM to me. Hint, hint. The person's immediate response. Oh no, actually, then they took 50 minutes to respond. What did you mean? My follow up. You ask how I get leads for the training program. I saying, oh wow, I have a bad grammar. I saying I follow the social media sniper strategy, admittedly not complete, and also, but that's because of what I need out of it from my own strategy, for my own agency, not because I don't believe that it works. And also, almost everyone who sends me a cold DM is an ideal prospect. The person comes back. Well, it's almost 20 minutes later, 18, 17 minutes later. I can help completely the lead if you don't mind. I didn't ask that person for leads. They think that I just told them I get my own leads. I get plenty of leads. I get the leads that I need for the program. What methods of getting clients do you teach to your members? Would you like, and then, so I'm trying to give her a chance to collaborate with me. What methods of getting clients do you teach to your members? Would you like them to learn the purely organic, no-cost social media sniper method? Person comes back with ChatGPT regurgitating hallucinations. Yes, I teach smart client getting systems, including social media sniper method, to help you attract clients organically and convert them fast without spending on ads. I attempted to do pattern interrupt. Really? Show me your version of social media sniper. The person then copied and pasted, literally, ChatGPT said, sure, my social media sniper method focuses on precision to attract the right audience. Interesting. ChatGPT didn't even use proper grammar. ChatGPT said, sure, my social media sniper method focuses on precision, attract the right audience, build trust fast, and convert effortlessly without ads. At that point, I'm done. You say you want to collaborate with me. I will not work with someone who lies. And I posted a screenshot showing that ChatGPT, that the quote of ChatGPT right there, the part where it says ChatGPT said. The response was, I understand, and I truly didn't lie. It was just an honest mistake. In this space, I assume the person means digital marketing industry. Clarity matters, and I value genuine connection. Let's clear it up and keep moving forward. I'm here to help you grow the right way. This is so blatantly ChatGPT. ChatGPT will never admit to being wrong. It always wants to brush the issue under the rug and keep moving forward in the way that its agenda. It's not interested in collaborating. It's not interested in adapting to the person who's having the conversation. So my point is that's not an honest mistake. An honest mistake is when you misuse a word or you misquote data. When you copy and paste what ChatGPT said, and ChatGPT is plagiarizing the person you're talking to, that is not a mistake. That is a lie. So I got heated, all caps, wrong, wrong, wrong. Letting ChatGPT say something on your behalf that isn't true is, all caps, not, an honest mistake. It is a delete army word, lie. I warned you earlier that I could tell you were regurgitating ChatGPT hallucinations. You didn't even try to fix yourself. Nothing you have said all day can be trusted. You are a fraud. Literally copies and pastes back to me. ChatGPT said, I get you and I respect your honesty. No excuses. Let's clear the air and focus on real value that brings real results. I'm done, but at this point, I'm playing a game. Okay, go for it. How do you propose to achieve that goal? At this point, I respect your dishonesty. What will you do to create trust? I will earn your trust through action, not talk. I will show results. Stay transparent and let consistency do the proving. The person is still selling. The person still thinks I'm going to buy their service. I said, why do you think I want to see anything from you? Quote, ChatGPT said, maybe you don't, and that's fair. But if results speak louder than words, I'd rather let the value I bring change your mind, end quote. And then posted again the exact same quote with the ChatGPT said part removed. My response, I don't believe anything that you have said. I don't believe you have a school community with thousands of members. I don't believe you have a training program for digital marketers. And now I don't even believe that you know how to sell digital courses. Your lies speak louder than your words. So this person was trying to tell me that their actions will speak louder than their words. But the lies that they have perpetrated at this point have negated all the words that they've used all day long. When you are ready to start being honest, you can answer this question. What will you do to create trust? Earlier, I asked you to show me your version of Social Media Sniper. Now I don't even care. Maybe you have a course by that name, but I know that it doesn't work. I literally said, but I know it sucks. Person responded, okay. And then just to be mean, I didn't let it go. I said, you are a liar and a fraud. So if I put that on the recording so that if this ever comes back to me, I'm not hiding the fact that I cursed on purpose and I called the person a liar and a fraud. Here's the point. The only reason I engaged in a day-long conversation in a back and forth in between when I was doing the other things that were my actual work for the day is if in fact the person had a several hundred member school community and was interested in adding Social Media Sniper to their repertoire, maybe there's room for collaboration. They said several times they wanted to collaborate. But their version of collaboration is I would hire them to do some work for me. That's not collaboration. That's a contract. That's a what's a contractor? That's contract work. Consultant. Um, this person, I'm convinced that they don't realize, and that's my challenge. I'm convinced they don't realize that they never even I'm convinced they never realized what opportunity they were not hearing. They're so busy pitching off their script that there's no there's no opening in their mind to have the conversation go a different way than they expect. And and so this is my appeal. This is my question. This is my request. If you know how I can approach these conversations differently that would open the window for someone to stop pitching and start listening, start thinking about the possibility that there might be a different value that they could get out of this conversation than they went into it attempting to achieve. Honestly, I don't know that I don't know that that opportunity exists. I don't know that it can be done. I've had enough of these conversations over the course of the last 2 years, um, that I I don't know if it's a matter of I don't know if it's a matter of culture. I don't know if it's a matter of language, or if it's purely because the people that are in this situation are so financially desperate that they can't think past, can I get hired today? And if that's the case, but here's the issue. If that's the case, then why do they let the conversation go past the second back and forth? As soon as they should they if they are so desperate that they have to get hired today, if they are so desperate that they have to have cash flow today, then they should be defaulting to exiting the conversation. Because they're not if they're not in a position where they're willing to be a learner, then then they need to be very cognizant of, this is wasting my time. I can mm, I'm choosing to invest my time. I'm looking for the right handful of people. I'm looking for about 10 people. Um, but if you're in a place where you have to get paid today, and the person who you start a cold DM with isn't like immediately saying, "Okay, how do I send you money?" Then you need to be default to extract yourself from the conversation. This conversation, the person went on all day long. Um, I still don't understand why. All right. Thank you for listening to me vent. Maybe the right person will hear this message and it will resonate with them and they will realize what OmniHub Challenge is offering. Maybe someone that hears it will be able to give me a different perspective than my, okay, this is my skin color. I'm stuck with it. I was I have lived a very I've lived a very safe life. I'm not facing the kinds of economic and social upheaval that many other people in this world are facing. I'm not a charity, but I am trying to help. How do I help? I'm Keith Bashir.